Bonjour à tous. So good morning, good evening, depending on where you are. We are very happy to have you today. This is our presentation in English. We have more families interested in knowing more about OFALycée and not automatically families speaking French. So we are extremely pleased to give you this presentation, the three of us. Here you have the three co-founders of OFALycée, Valérie, Olivier. They will introduce themselves once, obviously, they talk. We're going to take turns presenting you the first French-American lycée online. So this presentation will last about 20 minutes. We'll be happy to obviously give you more details in one-on-one meetings you can have with us. Don't hesitate to go on our social media. We offer a lot of other opportunities to know more about OFALycée. Book an appointment with our admissions officers or with us in order to get to know each other and to make sure that we can respond to your individual questions in the future. So OFALycée, it's a new generation of bilingual education. Bilingual because we are based in the US. Maybe we should start with the beginning. With the three of us, we are based in Boston or close to Boston. And we've been working in the network of French school abroad. We work for about 20 years. We are three teachers, educators, administrators in the French system. And this is our expertise and experience that created, and you will see, that created OFALycée about 4 years ago. So founded in 2019, so yes, a few months before COVID hit the planet. We founded OFALycée because we had a great sense of service. We've been serving French and Francophone families in our school for 20 years. And our passion for teaching, passion for learning, obviously gave us the knowledge that so many French or Francophone families were not able to attend French schools in the US. There are barely 50 schools in the US that are accredited by the French Ministry of Education. So with a number of students who could attend a French school and the school that don't exist, we were at the beginning really with this mindset of serving, to be at the service of a lot of families who could not access the excellence in education, in French education abroad. So this today, it's a bit almost 300 students. It's not even 250. We're close to 300. Our teachers are all certified teachers. We are close to 35, almost 40 at the moment. All our students are living in about 30 states, roughly. Next year there will be more than 28 states. The flexibility of OFALycée, whether you talk about time schedule, you talk about the offering of courses, the level we offer, because you see it's from 1st grade to 12th grade. The flexibility and adaptability that we were able to build over the last 4 years is part of a huge success. The success is also measured with the success rate at the French national examination. We were very proud, obviously, for 2 years, the past 2 years, that's 100% success for the brevet and 100% success for the baccalaureate. So all the lessons, and you will see how we do it. We do not replicate the French system exactly year after year. We follow the French system in a very specific way that makes the double, I would say, enrollment, the dual enrollment in an American school and us, a French school, possible for all students who wish to join us and get the best of the French education online. So all our teachers are French. All the courses, and Olivier will mention, Valérie as well, what we do are all taught by French teachers, all certified, I said, and they have experience also with bilingual or multicultural students. Last year in May 2022, we received the accreditation by Cognia. Cognia is well known worldwide for this accreditation system in, I don't know how many countries, but it's a lot of countries. More than 36,000 students are part of the Cognia organization of schools accredited. And this is an opportunity for us, for our students to validate French classes, courses in their own high school, and in the future, to grant the high school diploma in non-Anglophone countries or not in the US, but abroad. So the concept of complementarity is a concept of making sure that students who are enrolled during the day in their own school, whether it's an elementary school, a middle school, or a high school, after school, they are able to follow our courses. So we talk about a fusion of American and French school systems, and what is learned in English in the American system can be used, transferred to meet the requirements of the French system. For example, in math, whether you talk about Pythagoras, Thales, or any other basic mathematical knowledge that you need to acquire every year, it's the same in French, it's the same in any other language. What we do is we make sure that the students do not replicate or review or lose time redoing everything they know already. It's very important to know that in math and science and languages, our complementarity is really at its best. Olivier will talk about complementarity in terms of pedagogical approaches. The content is something different too, but these two teaching methods in the US and in France that are extremely different and almost, I would say, opposed to each other. I mean, there are not a lot of overlap in terms of approaches, but that makes our concept and our school unique, because we are so different that we complement each other so well. So bilingualism, biculturalism, these two very important parameters for bilingual or more than bilingual families. With us, you don't have to choose one system or the other. Our experience proved a lot of families were in international school, French schools or American school, they were just almost upset that they had to pick one system and leave a little bit behind, the other one. You don't have to with OFALycée. You keep the American immersion, you keep this, the richness of being able to evolve in another culture, language, way of thinking and learning, but you keep also the roots of the French education and French culture. So Valérie, I think it's good that you can give even more, obviously details about how we function, and give maybe our, listeners and viewers, about your experience in economy, for example, because I forgot to say, Valérie is a economics and sociology teacher. Olivier taught Latin, Greek, French, philosophy, and for me, it's history, geography. But just to give you, our experience, I think it's always good for all families to hear that we know what we talk about, because we've been spending a lot of years assessing and observing and getting to the conclusion of two systems can work so well together when we use the tools we have with technology.
Thank you, Geraldine, for this very nice and thorough introduction to OFALycée. So yeah, as Geraldine mentioned, the students at OFALycée, they actually are educated in their local American institution. So they go to an American school. At least 99% of the students at OFALycée attend a school during the day. And then they come back home and they take the complementary courses that we offer at OFALycée. So how do we work and how does it function? We have very small groups of students, between 4 and 8 students, and we will explain a little bit later in which level we actually have 4, and which level we have a max of 8 students. Basically, in a few words, we have a max of 4 students in the lower grades, where we really have to emphasize on giving them all the attention they need to learn the good, strong foundations of the French language that they need to be able to pursue later on. And obviously, we follow the l'Éducation nationale, the French curriculum, by doing not everything, because as Geraldine mentioned earlier, that would be a shame to reproduce exactly everything, because the students who attend American schools, they learn a lot. They have a lot of competencies. They have a lot of knowledge that we can actually use to learn and to teach them what they need to know in the French system. So some subjects, like my subjects, I would talk about experience, because I was a teacher for more than 20 years in international schools, where I did teach the French program, and as well the international baccalaureate. So in the US, for example, they do a lot of economics. They don't do sociology. So what we do at OFALycée, if they take an economics class in the upper classes, well, we're going to use those knowledge and what they've learned, and we're going to capitalize on it. And we're going to teach them what they need to know to be successful at the exam as well. All of our teachers are certified. They have been teaching for many years. They know exactly both systems as well. They know the programs very well. So they're able to actually teach the students in a way that will make their learning efficient and make them successful when they take the exam. So Olivier will actually explain to you a little bit deeper how it works and in the different levels at OFALycée.
Merci, thank you, Valérie. So I don't know, thank you for watching, and thank you because it's so glad we are all the three together in a live meeting, speaking in English and explaining OFALycée. So I don't know if everybody is familiar with the French system, but it works more or less the same way. And it gives you at a glance what we do exactly. So it starts with French, first, second, and third grade, and you go all the way to 11th and 12th grade, going, the goal is the baccalaureate, but you're not obliged when you enroll at OFALycée to go for the baccalaureate. You can, use the French classes and to keep the level, the French level and educational level at the highest, but you're not obliged to go the baccalaureate or neither the brevet. But if you want to, you can do it. And yes, this is and so you have also the college counseling, guidance, USA, Canada, and Europe, which is a niche. And Geraldine, maybe you will later on explain why we are a niche and why how do you get your expertise so high, but she's the best for counseling our students, French and Francophone. And we also have on right the socio-emotional learning. So when we founded OFALycée, for us it was key that students will be at the center of our preoccupations. So from the beginning, even it was before COVID, and COVID shows the world that we need to take care of the emotions and the social environment of our students. And so from the beginning, it was something we have at heart. And we have two fantastic coaches, Riyad for the lycée, high school, and Ongtam for the middle school and lower school. And we will get later on exactly on details. So Valérie or Geraldine, you want to add something on this slide?
Just to say, like when Valérie mentioned that we don't repeat also, and we want to make sure that students gain time, I just to give an illustration that is very, very easy. You know, students, when they reach 12th grade, which is for us, obviously the years where students attend the most classes and more classes than all the other grades before. In France, a typical student in 12th grade will sit 27, 28 hours a week in class to really attend the classes for the bac. With us, it's going to be 7, 8 hours. And the students will cover exactly the same program. So you do the math, it's about 7, 8 or 27, 28 hours. So this gain of time is due to the choices we made pedagogically, how we teach online. It's also the expertise of teachers and Olivier for the French, obviously program, and all the other teachers for the other subjects where, you know, the gain of time is just, it's not just cutting what they see, it's teaching differently. And this is not what we talk about enough, I would say, in education when we innovate. Innovation is not adding applications for the sake of adding more technology. Is using technology to make sure that students are not overwhelmed by extra hours that they don't need. And our students sit, yes, 7, 8 hours per week with their teachers. They interact. They have this, Olivier will mention with the next slides, but to give you just numbers, because there's only numbers that talks and explain what we're doing. This is yes, 25-30% time compared to, you know, what they do in typical high school in France. And, you know, it's not, it's almost like a perfect timing, but the last studies, and if you want to know the links, you can email us, but the last studies that have been made for higher education, online learning helps students gain between 40 and 60% of time for studying the same subjects. So what we see at the secondary school level is really a match of what is currently studied at the higher education level. So these gain of time, but you don't lose quality, you don't lose expectations of excellence, you don't diminish the expectations overall, you just adapt the learning of students. Right now, there's no problem with them technology, it's just how we make technology and teaching online more attractive, very lively still, it's not passive. It's more than that. And when you reach that level that we are very lucky to have been able to implement at that level at OFALycée from 1st to 12th grade, this example of 7, 8 hours of teaching compared to 28, it gives you the span of all the opportunities and I would say, capacities for online learning to explore new ways of teaching that transform. That's why we talk about a new generation. It's because until now, we never experienced online, at least in the French system, that you could cover the French system less hours by using what you learn in another language. It can be English, it can be Italian, it can be any other language. It's just, you know, how you make sure that the combination of both systems is made obviously by a professional. You just don't, you know, pick right and left what is to be, you know, in the complementarity. But this is how we get to this educational offering. And Olivier will get into the details of French, math French, and how we get to different levels before the last one.
Exactly. And, you know, what was important for me, some previous slide, is to show that if your student or your child knows how to speak French, understand French in 1st grade, and I think this is something important because as an English speaking family, you can enroll your child, you know, in 1st grade, or any time, but you need to understand French and be able to interact with the teacher and follow the instruction and read the homework and etc. etc. So again, we are not a French a French academy to learn the language. We are a French lycée, and as like every French lycée, if you don't understand French, it's not the right school for you. But you can be a 100% Anglophone family and have your child enrolled at OFALycée. And this live is also, a sign that we speak English, and we are here. All of teachers are here to help. So let's dive into, the elementary school, first, 5th grade. And my goal is to make you understand exactly how it works. So the students meet twice a week during 45 minutes. And we use Zoom as a video conference platform. And also, as you can see with the little icon, Canvas, online learning platform. So Canvas is a leader in the online learning management system. And Geraldine, I don't know if you try with ChatGPT, but ChatGPT also said that Canvas was the first one and Blackboard the second one. So it's used by Harvard or every public private high school, middle school, elementary school in the US. And it's a fantastic tool. We have a lot of content on it. Our teacher, dedicated teacher, uploading a lot of resources in English. So we do our best to expose the Anglophone family or a child coming from an Anglophone family to French. So even if you have like the 245 minutes of French, you will get exposition to the French language through reading books, because you can find fantastic tools, people reading books for children in French, like turning pages. It's fantastic. So you can increase exponentially the exposition of French. And so everything will be on Canvas. 4 students per class until 3rd grade. And this is very important because they get to learn to read in French, which sometimes can be difficult. And they also learn cursive script, which is also key, because if you don't learn it at this age, it will be tougher later on. But so it's why we focus on French, 45 minutes, twice 45 minutes. And then when we get to 4th and 5th grade, you go from 4 students to 6 students. We want more interactivity. We wanted, dynamics, and also, it's time for math to kick into the game. And so 1 hour of math is possible, but not obligatory, not mandatory. And socio-emotional learning through like table ronde and a group session, where parents and students get to talk about every issue they can have, or every question that can come up. So now we go to middle school, a little focus on middle school. So a lot of things looks like the other one. So you'll have 245 of French, synchronous lesson up to 8th grade, 6 students per class, 1 of math, Canvas, and socio-emotional learning. So the idea here is 6th graders, starting in 6th grade, students can schedule a meeting with a coach, which is fantastic. And they have been using, and there is no minimum. So it's like, generally it's 15 minutes per session.
It's about 30 minutes per session.
30 minutes.
30 minutes per session.
Wow.
And students can, obviously share or, their experience, what they live. What's important also to make sure is like, we do not teach at OFALycée in a complete separate settings. It's like the American school and us. We not only talk to each other, we look at each other. The success of our students, if they're successful in the American school, then they are successful with us, and vice versa. So it's a matter of making sure that the two systems, they talk to each other, and they talk through the students and through us. In upper school, Olivier and I are regularly in contact with college counselors or guidance counselors in high school, because we provide our own transcript for the juniors and seniors. We talk to them in terms of course selection as well. They want to know more about our school in order to integrate French in their own transcript. You know, in an American school, we have several students who benefit from that plus, which means our French class is in their American transcript. And for that, students benefit from free period every day during the week. So they gain time. They gain time for their homework, for everything that we ask. And several high schools, yes, they accepted us as a complementary school that can fulfill not the core curriculum, but the electives, you know, everything that's part of the enrichment program in any American high school. Then our students can benefit from this extra meaning they can work for OFALycée homework during their American school time. And the gain of time is also one of our biggest concerns, because we know a dual enrollment, dual diploma, or dual, obviously, you know, school work is challenging. So it has always been our biggest concern to make sure that students do not suffer from too much, but we can work with, you know, this extra work that our students obviously have to follow and deliver every single week. And that's part of how OFALycée is innovative too. Is until now, there was no French school that were able to give this opportunity to students, especially in high school, where it's super stressful and it can be really overwhelming, the homework and everything, and school and college after high school and everything. None of the schools were able until now to be part of the American life. There are immersion programs, yes. There are immersion, usually they're over by the end of elementary school. But for high school, there was no, until now, this discussion of being part of the life of an American student in his or her school. So that's how innovation is too. It's not automatically, we use online tool, we use technology, we use app. It's also thinking how you can really make sure that the bilingualism and biculturalism of your kid is really put at the highest level. And that's what we are able to do. And Olivier, maybe in high school you can.
Yeah, and just before going, you know, over the slide, let me add.
You want me to go back?
No, that's fine, because it's okay. the same concept of how, you know, if my son or daughter is in an Anglophone family, how can he or she, with like 2 times 45 minutes of French, get to, you know, be at the same level as the other students who are like in a French lycée or in France learning French? And the answer is we have worked a lot on you know, comparison between US system and French system. And Geraldine was talking about complementarity a little earlier. And this is a pedagogical complementarity. We took from the US system what they do the best for literature and teaching languages. And we come to the conclusion that our students have to write a lot. And every week, you know, there are assignments. So this is not a good news for the students, but, you know, say twice, you know, 2 times 45 minutes. So, you know, at least they need to work 2 times 45 minutes extra. So let's say 3 hours, everything combined. But they have to work on writing. So every week, our students have to write. So if they're in 6th grade, they write like 200 words per week. At least they try. And if they are in 9th grade and we're coming to the high school level, 9th grade, they have like 350, something like this, and even more if it's in 11th grade or 12th grade. with the philosophy. But you know, when they're going to the back, we expect the French language be there. So this is part of the success of OFALycée. We put the focus on writing skills, because you get to use the vocabulary, you know, work on the syntax, work on everything, and then write it down. Later in, I think later in the year, Geraldine, we will do a little, I think it's necessary, but maybe in French, but we will do a little live about how we use and we position ourselves with, you know, Google speech or text to speech or speech to text or ChatGPT, how we can use it and how we can position ourselves. But it's not bad news. It's a reality. So, but it's very important, because sometimes parents say, Olivier, but what happens if my child do all the written assignment with ChatGPT or you is honesty, and you know it's come down also to that. One big thing, so coming back to OFALycée 9th to 12th grade program, you can see like asynchronous lessons appearing, and sometimes we have to reinforce it, but our students, except, you know, apart from the direct live interaction with the teacher, twice 45 minutes in French, and for the other option in brevet or French baccalaureate, maybe between 30 minutes and 45 minutes. They have to watch videos, read some material, get to resources and work on it, you know, come back with questions. For example, I was talking with Coralie Delavaux in biology, and you know, she said, you know, I have to repeat it, but I say, okay, you have to come back with your questions. You have to watch the video before the class, and then we work from there. It's also another reason Geraldine was mentioning saving time. Why we save time at OFALycée is because we use asynchronous, you know, students that work on the questions before coming to class.
I think it's very much, you know, when you look at more, you know, in detail what we're doing, basically in 11th and 12th grade, our students have a university level rhythm of working and working habits, because they need to be independent enough, obviously, to connect on their own and prepare for the week. They meet their teachers during the week, and then obviously they have to provide homework. So basically we train them to be at the university level kind of expectations. When we talk about autonomy, independence, or more in-depth learning, it's not done entirely on their own, like at the university level, but you have to understand that a lot of things has to come from you as a student. The teacher cannot just deliver everything to you. We don't give everything and then just, you know, memorize everything and everything will be fine. It's really this mix, and it became more and more realistic with the feedback that students are giving us now that they are at, you know, in college in the US or Europe. It's like, yeah, how they were prepared is because they had this, you know, university level, I can say, of not only amount of work per week, because remember, they are in their own American school the whole day, and they work with OFALycée teachers and for OFALycée classes after school. So yes, it's a commitment, but once they are able to say, oh, wow, I can do it, this is also for them to gain a lot of self-confidence, a lot of you know, pride in being able to accomplish 2 diplomas. Because until we created OFALycée, you could have a high school diploma and a French bac in one school, sitting at the same hours, the same desk, you know, the same thing. We just expanded this dual diploma to 2 schools, 2 settings, 2 environments, you know, that are talking to each other even though they are extremely, extremely different. So OFALycée, maybe Olivier, you could, maybe social emotional learning, it's very big, high
exactly.
school.
Yeah, it's key in high school, and thank you, Geraldine, because you talk about what means Cognia accreditation for OFALycée and our students, but it's part of the game where time. Students, what the biggest concern in high school is time. So between sport and art and the US system, the French system. So socio-emotional learning is key because our students, as said Geraldine, are like in university level. The speed, like the pace they are getting into is crazy, but they need to manage it, and most important, they need to learn how to manage their emotion, how to manage their time wisely, etc., etc. So Riyad Tabe is doing an incredible job at this. He's very responsive, always there for the students, and this guy is also fantastic because he can also jump and make the bridge between academics and socio-emotional learning, which is key because some of the times our students have issue with the subject, and there is a lot of emotional, affect going on. And Riyad is able to help them in mathematics, for example, and go back to socio-emotional learning and make everything right for them. So this is amazing. And I was thanking Geraldine because of Cognia accreditation, and I'm done talking, but they can save time. So during the day, and I'm repeating everything, but during the day, there are like 3 periods thanks to OFALycée working on elective because of French or philosophy or another subject in French, because the US high school is not offering this subject. And so there is like a partnership between OFALycée and US high school in that, because it gives the flexibility to the student to have time to write assignments and work on what everything he needs to work on.
So before Valerie gives you a summary of all the advantages that we offer at OFALycée, I want to mention something very practical, because a lot of parents, ask us, but how do you do that? If I live in New York, or, what happens if somebody lives in San Francisco or Seattle or Houston, or, So what we do very clearly, we do two types of schedules, one for the East Coast, one for the Pacific Coast. So you have Pacific time and Eastern time. From 1st to 12th grade, depending on where you are in the country, you will have the choice. You will be offered, once you apply, you will be offered all the hours, French, math, or more, as you saw. French is for the lower grades, and then you have 4th to 10th grade French and math that you can take, but from 9 to 12, you can take more classes. You see, there are kind of three parts in the development of our classes, courses, and time management for students. But basically, wherever you are, you will have between 7, 8, 9, 10 offerings of classes, for example, for 2nd grade, for 3rd grade, for 6th grade, 8th grade, from Pacific or Eastern time. This ability for us to offer so many classes is also what I said at the beginning, what part of the success. Because if what we offer you doesn't match, your schedule, you can always give us.
Absolutely.
You will see, once you connect, once we talk to each other, and we will repeat that, you can give us the times that works for you. Until now, we have been able to accommodate all the families who really wanted to be part of the program. They gave us the times that works for them, and we were able to create extra classes. As long as you give us these, wishes early enough, you are guaranteed, to get the classes at the time you want. And that's not what schools online are giving you usually. You can have a lot of classes online taken anytime, any day, because it's recorded. for us, it's very important that the connection with the teachers happen. So in order to have these live sessions, we need to figure out the best time between you and us. And that's a guarantee, because now we have so many, obviously, times from Pacific time and Eastern time, but don't hesitate to give us what works also for you. Exactly. So Valerie, if you maybe can talk and also mention maybe a little bit about how tuition financial aid works, all the advantages you see here. For everyone, listening to us right now, this is what you get from OFALycée. This is what you get when you pay for French only, for French and math, for the brevet, for philosophy only. Everything you see now that Valerie will summarize is what you get. So it's not a French school getting French classes. It's a school system. It's a new one that doesn't exist in other parts of this country or other countries. So yeah, Valerie, I give you the mic.
I'm so happy to summarize all the advantages of OFALycée. And they never, I mean, my dear colleagues never mentioned that OFALycée is a school. We take pride in what we do. And it's definitely a passion for us to give everything we give to our students. And they are very grateful, actually, even after 2 years of being at OFALycée, they still come back to us and they say, wow, that was such an amazing experience. And that's where we are at now. And it's always so nice when you have been a teacher or you have been in the admin of a school to hear back from them. So all the advantages of OFALycée, the social emotional learning, definitely a very strong program. I think, what they're going to carry with them, being able to actually do those two programs at the same time and manage everything they do on the side with the support we give them. All the teachers are very, very supportive. And the support they get from that social emotional learning program, that will be a key asset for them when they go to college or universities, because they will be so well trained. That won't be an issue for them. And that's from experience, and that's from feedback that we are getting from all students who actually were with us for the last 2 years of high school. That's what they come back with. They say we were so well prepared in a lot of fronts to get into the college rhythm. We also, and Geraldine, you will say more about that because you are in touch with schools, either in France or somewhere else, because we help and we support our families which return to France or to another country, because that happens. Yes, we have about, I should say 10-15% of our families which are leaving us at the end of each year, not because they don't want to leave us, but because they have a family project that needs to bring them back to another country. And Geraldine and Olivier have been in touch with the administration of a lot of schools overseas to make sure that the transition for those students would be effective, and they will get to where they want to be at some point. And maybe you can add some stuff if you want to add some stuff to that. The student support, it's not only that they go on the LMS or on the platform, or they just see their teachers. Our teachers are there all the time. They communicate with their students if they have questions. They see them on weekends. If they have to see them on weekends, we tend to say, if you can refrain contacting the teachers on Sundays, please do so. But our teachers are always willing to give them a hand, and especially for those, class with exams at the end of the year. We know that sometimes the level of stress is higher. This time of year, for example, from experience, I know that February, March will be a higher stress level time for students. They have a lot to take care of. They know that the exams are coming up, and the teachers will be there, and they will give them a hand to make sure that they are well prepared, not only well prepared, but also that their well-being will be really taken care of. So, of course, the preparation for the French diplomas, as Olivier mentioned earlier, some of our students take the brevet and some others take the baccalaureate, not all of them do. So you can certainly be at OFALycée without doing those two national exams. We also, what we do, it's to assist with the integration into the American school system. The American school system can be overwhelming for families who have no deep knowledge of what it is. I've been there. I've been here for a long time. When we all have kids in the American system, we have had experience with the American system, and it's not an easy system to understand when you just get here to the US. So without experience and knowledge of it, we certainly can assist to integrate the American school system. And Geraldine, you do that quite a bit with our students, because it comes down to what
is the best
choices they will make to make this program successful. So maybe you can add that later on as well. College counseling, same thing. The students have a project. They have a goal. Most of those students starting in 10th grade, I would say, they start building something where they want to be, where they want to go. And we have group and individual sessions as well with students and with parents. And Geraldine is the pro doing it because she's been doing it for so many years. So she will.
Right now with students, I can say it's on a weekly basis for the seniors that we talk. We talk to each other, like, because they talked about France, they talk about the UK until January, they talk about Canada. And we definitely we open the doors to new opportunities. And for many families, many parents just say, we don't know what our son or daughter will be doing. She has no clue, he has no clue. What are we going to do? And it's not resolved in a few minutes. So this college counseling, where you can obviously found, online or in person for several thousands of dollars per year, if you want to be helped, you will get this advantage at OFALycée, where we will follow the kids, especially in 11 and 12, but earlier in group sessions. And that's a huge advantage, because a lot of high school here in the US do not have a clue about what's, how to handle applications in Europe. And that's not their fault, because you will find the same thing in France. If you want to go to the US, you won't find people who are obviously versed in the system. So that's a huge plus.
So, excuse me to interrupt, but also, which is very good for Anglophone family, English-speaking family, is, and nobody knows that, it's, they can go study in France without the baccalaureate.
Yes, they can study in France without the baccalaureate. They can go to Italy, to Spain, obviously to the UK or the Netherlands. These are the countries that our students are interested in. And that's a relief for many families, like, oh God, okay, that's good. I have other options than the US, because the US may not be the single option. And that's not the case for our students. Our students apply to different countries, but if something different is, better somewhere else than the US, then they go.
Financially wise,
we'll see. Yes.
That's also a good attraction of going to study in Europe. That's for sure.
Yep.
So many things we can discuss, so many things we can help with. This is always great to get all those advice. Even myself, I went to Geraldine a few times when it was time for my kids to apply to different colleges, and she was a great resource. So, and the last thing is the preparation for the AP French. I'm assuming if it's a session in English, a lot of parents will know what the AP is, but we also prepare our kids to take the AP French, either in 9th or 10th grade. So we do revision modules and mock exams. And as many of you may know or not, but the AP French, if you get a high score, 4 or 5, which your students will almost be guaranteed to get, you get credit. And those credits can be very precious to get when you get into college. So again, by experience, I can tell you that. Yeah. So thank you so much. It was a pleasure. I don't know if Geraldine or Olivier have to add some stuff. On my side as well, as Geraldine mentioned, I am pretty much at OFALycée on the back office. I deal with all the paperwork and the finance and the administrative matters. So I also wanted to let you know that we offer financial aid through an application process. So definitely you can apply for financial aid at OFALycée. If you want to check our tuition, it's on our website, and you will go, and it's very detailed about the planned payment, the options, the amount, the tuition fees by grades, based on which program you follow, the French and math, and what's happening in the different grade levels in that respect. So thank you so much. It was really a pleasure to be live and to be giving you those information. And
as you can see, we can't talk 20 minutes. I'm sure you noticed. Passion and knowledge, and we gave you just an overview. Okay, if we want to go into details, that's going to be on one-on-one.
The tip of the iceberg.
The tip of the iceberg. Very good, Olivier. Yes.
How much we can talk.
Okay, so you have the email, phone number, the website. There will be more, obviously, information on the website if you want to attend other webinars or if you want to book an appointment. Our both admissions officer, I could say, the two person in charge of admissions, they are perfectly bilingual. So don't hesitate. Don't be afraid. The meeting can be in English, obviously. And it's a relief also for some parents to say, hey, I want to talk and want to continue the French education of my son, my daughter, or plural. We have a lot of families with 2, 3 kids at OFALycée. So yeah, don't hesitate to ask and follow us on our social media, whether it's Facebook, YouTube.
And click on the subscribe button on YouTube.
Yes.
On the YouTube channel. We will do more English version of what we do in French.
Yes, and if you were patient and really concentrated until now, you can also hear that not only we exist in the US, but we are also opening in the UK. In the UK in September 2023 for year 2 to year 11. If you are, looking at us or listening to us right now from the UK, that's the opening of 2023. So more on that in another live for certain. But it's important that our population of parents who are eager to continue the French education for their kids know that we exist, that what we do, how we do it, and get feedbacks from other parents, other students. We can send you also the recordings of classes of 2nd graders or 5th graders or 7th graders if you want to see how it works also. So yeah, we hope to make sure we get to know each other a little bit more in the future. And yes, it's only like a quick goodbye and talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Au revoir,
Bye, everyone.
Merci, Valérie.